supportive housing, so many issues to be concerned with. All of us have a big job, council, going forward to really be concerned with, like this mic. And you know, we have a lot of things to really be worried about and really be concerned with, and to make sure that we work together. I hope that this thing doesn't sound terrible. But it's really my wish that in the next term that the council can work together to make this a great community to live, work, and play. And on October 15th, make sure you get your vote for the community you'd like to see. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and again we apologize to all of the council people who are running and to the listeners out there who are in the studio, in the audience. We are trying to get the microphone rectified as I speak. All right, where are we at now? We have next up on the Price is Right, number 17, Mountain Road Open.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Manuel O'Neill. Before I start introducing myself, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for giving us the opportunity to express our interest for the community. I moved to Merritt 12 years ago, where I met my beautiful Polish wife. We have 5 children. I had the privilege to get to know many of you in my previous role as the Business Development Officer for the local community features. Since I moved to Merritt, I have been providing business support to all our local businesses, not only in Merritt, but also the Nicola Valley. Now in my current job as business advisors for the Community Futures Entrepreneurs with Disabilities program, I have the opportunity to provide customized training and business support to people who are experiencing a mental or physical disability.
30 seconds.
I have a deep belief in giving back to the community. Over the years, I have been volunteer at the Merritt Chamber of Commerce as well as Junior Achievement, delivering numerous business sessions to elementary and high school students. If elected, I will focus on flood recovery and mitigation, responsible development, public safety, affordable housing.
Time. And next, for running for council, Melvina White.
Hello, and welcome, and thanks for coming. My name is Melvina White, and I'm here to earn your vote for re-election to City Council. I've lived in Merritt for 21 years. 17 of those years I was a business owner, and for the last 4 years I've served on council. Serving as a councilor has provided me with many opportunities to meet and work with so many good people who believe in our city and are doing what they can to create a positive environment in Merritt. I will always consider my one vote a privilege and will never take advantage of that. I will continue to use my vote to better our community. I believe I have represented my position proudly. I sit on 4 nonprofit boards as a director, and I always volunteer and try and help as many organizations as I can. However, my intentions have always been based on listening to you, the local population. I will not make any promises beyond my control, but promise I will work hard along with council to address the senior levels of government that can make it happen. I will bring knowledge, experience, and stability to the council. I will fight for better communication, downtown revitalization, community well-being, and tourism. I believe wholeheartedly that positive things are happening in Merritt, and with patience, hard work, and working together.
Next, we have Claire Newman.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Claire Newman. I've served as an elected official for 4 consecutive terms in Logan Lake prior to moving to Merritt. For 14 years, I have sat on committees ranging from public works, economic development, trails, and tourism. I was also the longstanding president of the Woodland Lake Community Forest Board, where I worked with many local indigenous leaders and nations locally. I've met many of you face-to-face on my door-to-door campaign. You all share a love, a sense of community, and pride for Merritt. With that being said, each of you has expressed you want more. More communication, more infrastructure, more services, doctors, flood recovery, mitigation, hospital beds, and accessible information easily found. I have a proven track record of accountable, unbiased, team-based decision-making. I love public service, and bringing your documented concerns to our table will be my pleasure. I understand the budget process. I expect this process to be completed in an open and transparent fashion.
30 seconds.
And communicated to the public in the same way. I expect nothing less of our municipal staff as well. In order to grow, we need to be fiscally responsible. It is imperative that our council is brought up to speed as soon as possible on all outstanding provincial and federal requests for support, funding, and assistance. Your elected officials need to be getting you answers. It is our job to work collectively as a team for you. You are our employer. We are accountable to you, the residents of Merritt, and I stand here in front of you.
Time. Next up, Mary Fleury.
Hi, my name is Mary Fleury, and I'm here I want to just help get this town back to where it was. I came here in 2012, and I used to be able to walk around, and I enjoyed it. I loved this place. And now, I spoke to so many people, and so many people are afraid to even just go out and step outside their door. So I'd like to help and make this safe city again.
Next, running for council, MJ Phillips.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is MJ Phillips, and you'll pardon me while I look at my notes. I forgot my phone. I am running for city council because I believe that a transparent government creates and builds trust with people. I know speak really small. The past couple of years, we've gone through fires, we've gone through COVID, we've gone through flooding, and it's ripped this community apart. To further bring the community together, we need to be transparent, and the city needs to be transparent with its people. And that means more community engagements, polls, conversations, roundtables, discussing things directly with the people, and not sitting here behind a position. We need to create the trust from City Hall to the people. Because if you don't trust us, then you're not going to even consider voting. And this is why we're here, to ask for your vote. You see,
30 seconds.
People trust their governments when they're transparent. And I want to go and help bring the city to be more transparent so we can reduce the workload of our city workers.
Running for mayor in the city of Merritt, Tony Luck.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see such a large crowd out tonight. My name is Tony Luck, and I'm running for mayor in the October 15th local general election. My wife Wanda and I chose to move to Merritt about 7 years ago after becoming empty nesters, like a lot of you. I was familiar with the Nicola Valley, and as we spent time exploring the interior, it became clear Merritt was the place for us. We have embraced this great community, are proud to call Merritt home, and we're here to stay. I think as we move forward, this is a critical election year for this community. For the past 4 years, I have been listening, and one of the main concerns you have are transparency and communication, or the lack thereof. My commitment to you is to address these challenges so that all of you feel informed and confident in the city. Other concerns such as growing the economy, community safety, and wellness will be addressed drawing on the expertise of council and members of the public. I can assure you that I will be approachable and will be available to listen to your comments and suggestions. Our strength and resiliency have been tested over the last little while, and we need to
30 seconds.
And we need to heal. That is why I am running for mayor. I have the education, experience, and knowledge to work with a new council to bring confidence back to the process and rebuild our reputation. I promise you that I'll work to make the changes necessary under our jurisdiction, advocate strongly for those that are not. I do know that working together we can make great things great happen here again in Merritt. I believe in this community, and I believe in you. Thank you.
And finally, Linda Brown for the position of mayor.
Thank you. Good evening. Wow, 90 seconds. I prepared a 5-minute speech to tell you briefly who I am, what I value, how I lead, and why a vote for me is a vote for a strong, vibrant Merritt. Saturday evening, the rules changed. I have 90 seconds to convince you to vote for me. So those are the rules, and I shall play within them. I do have a video that I'm going to be posting on YouTube as soon as this is over. I'm running for mayor because I have the combined education and experience in public administration that no other candidate has. I have a proven track record as mayor. In the last election, I campaigned for development-friendly and responsible zoning bylaws that would facilitate and enhance sustainable development. We achieved that. Although progress in development was interrupted by flood disaster, we still achieved $30 million in development value in 2021. We continue post-flood to attract investment to our city. I take a measured approach to leadership in council business to avoid knee-jerk decision-making. I will lead with confidence all the councillors that you elect and treat them fairly and courteously. I will insist upon respectful conduct from all councillors in their roles as elected officials. I'm ethical, honest, informed, intelligent, can see both sides of every coin. I'm locally grown, have no business interests that would trigger a conflict of interest. I understand budgets and also understand responsible management of the public purse. I respectfully ask for your vote for Linda Brown as the mayor. Thank you.
So there you have it, a brief introduction to most of the candidates who will be on the ballot coming October the 15th. What we are going to do is we are going to now move to table number 2 to pick on them for our first question that was submitted online. In fact, we have several people with this request. So, Gary Wood, Mr. Wood, your first question and all of your questions will be, do you have a plan for long-term housing? A local plan for long-term housing? I will tell you 30 seconds will be on the clock, so please no preamble or what have you. You should probably stick to the question at hand.
Plan for housing. Well, Merritt really doesn't have that much room to grow but up. If you look on the hills around us, a lot of it is not very accessible. So I think downtown, high-density downtown needs to really be pushed. In order for us to do that, we need to start working with developers more and try to get the development charges down. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Paul Petrosi, do you have a plan for local long-term housing?
Looking around, there isn't room for building. I know a lot of our back alleys are large enough that we can accommodate possibly carriage houses. That's one of the things I look forward to maybe putting forward. There's a couple, there's an apartment building that's actually not sure on Canford that maybe we can look at for.
For those folks in the audience listening, this isn't easy, trying to fit 30 seconds for a platform, but these folks will do their best. Michael Behrens.
I don't particularly have a solid plan myself. It's about, being on council is about getting ideas together. We have addressed, there's all kinds of, like Gary said, there's not a lot of places to go but up. Paul said that the carriage houses work, and that's a good idea. It's going on in Kelowna, and it works quite well for them.
Long-term affordable housing is more my bag though, and then looking to other areas in the town where we could expand and grow. Thank you. Thank you. Norma G.
Yes. Well, I'm not too familiar, but I know that there is no lining at the council meeting and hearing all their concerns, and that the old railway track isn't really wide enough. They were looking at that, but surely we can look around and see where we could purchase land seriously and encourage builders at a fair price, and just work it till we get an answer with that. Yeah, we need housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Deanna Palmer.
I think an open collaboration with the developers that come to our city and making the ease of the permitting and building application process clear and simplified. And I think that we need to encourage higher density housing going up and work hard at keeping the small town feel that we're all accustomed to. Thank you.
Wendy Charlie.
I think the key issue is rezoning, so that single-family homes can then put a small house at the back or a carriage house on top of the garage. With rezoning, they can change the easement to make it more affordable and practical, so it's not just a single-family home. You have multiple families, suites, etc. But rezoning is the key for that.
Brian Peterson.
We need to work together to come up with solutions on what our options are for future development. We can meet with to whom it concerns for possibly pushing Merritt borders into crown lands and rezoning.
We have Yvette Baxter.
We can work together with people that own large chunks of land that are still undeveloped. And we can use that land to make multi-unit strata developments, and within that strata development, we can say so many houses are allotted as single or low-income families. There is lots of land around Merritt where we can use, build, and grow.
Adam Etcher.
We have many options that we could look at with housing. Number one, density bonus for developers who are interested in going higher levels. Second option would be to maybe waive some permit fees for those that are wanting to put some of the carriage houses into their backyards with the proper setbacks. In our new zoning that we did September 2024, we do have more options than we did before. Thank you to our current council. There's not enough time to go over all the options, but we have options, and thank you.
Thank you. And all.
Affordable housing is a crisis. The crisis is leaving community members behind. We have seniors, people on fixed income, students, people with disabilities who cannot keep up with the rent. I believe we need to do our best to close that gap of affordable and stable rental housing by streamlining municipal permitting and rezoning processes to fast-track the development of rental housing with a specific focus on affordable rental housing.
Our current zoning in a lot of areas covers for carriage houses in backyards and on the same property. We also have zoned a number of properties for high density and get a lot of backlash from it, but it is out there for high density, and there's the zoning, there's lots of zoning for the housing. It's a matter of attracting the developers to build it. Thank you.
I would agree with what Melvina just spoke to. It's attracting the developers. We do have available land in our adjacent areas. The zoning has been changed, as Adam spoke to. I think it's really about marketing what we have here. We are in a great location. We are the entranceway to the Okanagan. We have lakes, we have rivers. It's a matter of getting us advertised to the appropriate people. When you get it in front of them, they will come. There are also ways that you can... Thank you.
Mary Porter.
Hi. Housing, that's a biggie. We have a very big problem when it comes to housing, and I think the biggest problem is the rent, for one. And if there is anything out there, we can afford to get it anyway. So we need to work on bringing that down.
And Jay Phillips.
I'm looking at the idea of consolidating all of the city buildings in one building so we can repurpose the current land that we currently own from the city to be able to use this for council housing. A lot of people might not know what that is, but that's the term that's used in the United Kingdom. And that's where we own low-income housing that's specifically designed and owned by the city to be able to be rented out. This is an option that we can take a look at. It's not going to be cheap to be able to consolidate, but with new technology, we can do it.
Tony Locke.
Thank you. As a lot of you know, I've been a housing advocate for 5, 6, 7, maybe longer than that. And the reason I am is because I see my children trying to buy homes. It's difficult. We have a housing crisis in Canada. We have a housing crisis in North America. As Adam mentioned earlier, that we've already changed the zoning in this community. We can go high density. I've got a fellow that's building a building on a single family lot right now, 5 living units, 1 single family gone, 5. So we got the things and the process in place. We just need to use them. We need to attract people in our community. And we need to get it done soon because we're losing.
Linda Brown.
Pre-flood, we had a housing issue. Post-flood, we have a bigger issue. We are looking at zoning. We've changed the zoning bylaws. It's not our zoning that's the issue. As people have mentioned, it's the developers. The city doesn't own land other than that small tract along Coachella. Any other land, we have to raise taxes in order to be able to pay for some land. So we're not looking at purchasing land ourselves. We're looking at trying to get some private owners to put their properties up for sale and eventually have the developer come and work it through. We don't have that ability to own housing ourselves.
Next, we have Mike Getz.
Thank you. One of the things that we have to do with housing is we have to look at working with First Nations and private landowners that go on 99 years at least, like we have in West Kelowna, and my good friend in Minnesota, Clarence Louis has done this. We've run out of land in the community. People say expand your city limits, but that just brings more, doesn't give you land to build on, it just brings more taxation in, and you have to worry about doing all the sewer and everything for private landowners. So the whole idea is 99-year lease with First Nations and private landowners and try to build there.
Mark Van.
Yes, thank you for the question. I would agree with Mayor Brown and the other councilors that changes were made that will facilitate housing development. What I'd like to see is more affordable housing, and for us to do that, the city must work with the provincial and federal governments. Thank you.
Susan Rowley.
I think we need to think outside the box and facilitate developers in timely rezoning and required processes, and move along the great number of projects already in the queue.
Thank you so much. Dana Egan.
Thank you. I tend to agree with the majority of the councillors up here, where it's not the council's responsibility to actually build the homes. It's up to us to attract developers and encourage them with whatever means that they have, and also work with the provincial government.
That's the first question. We will now start with question number 2, and it begins with Deanna Holmgren. Sorry to pick on you. This question for all candidates: do you think future flood prevention is more important than fixing the current housing issue? And we had 4 individuals propose us that question.
Well, I'm going to say right off the bat, that was a really difficult question. I don't think anyone's solution is right for our community. Both of those things are very important, and we have to work on both of them simultaneously. Obviously, we have to help with some flood mitigation, probably first and foremost, but housing is equally as important. Thank you.
That certainly is a loaded question.
I do agree that we have to work on both simultaneously, but I also think that we have to get our community protected first, because there's no point in building more houses if they are in an area that could be flooded. So we have to do flood mitigation as well as looking at affordable housing.
I would agree with both of these two as well, that we need to address both of them. But if your boat's sinking, you got to stop the water from coming in first. And nobody's going to want to develop places where there hasn't been any progress made in stopping floods from happening again.
I agree with all the councillors so far. We have to work both together.
Like we have to do the flood mitigation on that topic where we can save as much as we can. If we lose any more houses, we're going to be in a worse crisis. We need to do them both together.
Both situations are in dire need of addressing immediately. Currently, our council was at the UBCM where we asked the minister for help with improvement, several $1 million, and at the same time supportive housing for our vulnerable population. Both will take a long time to develop, and our continuing plan that takes a long time to do. It's very important to make sure that you protect the vulnerable areas of town that could flood, because you don't know when it's going to happen again. 30 years from now, hopefully never again, but we don't know the future, and we have to be prepared for what could be coming next.
So I don't see why we should choose one over the other. I feel like in order to do something about the housing crisis as well as the flood mitigation, we need to apply for additional funding to the provincial as well as federal funding if we want to achieve some good results here. Thank you.
Flood mitigation is a question that's on everybody's mind, and a good part of it boils down to the provincial and federal government putting some of those plans in place, and the housing that people have lost, we have to find them temporary housing. Somebody told me that that's gone out with the wash, and it hasn't. Mayor and council are still working on that, and hopefully we can get it rectified. Thank you.
I'm going to speak a little differently, and I think that the flood mitigation is and should be our first priority. The way I look at it, it is the safety of your residents that you need to take care of first. I'm not saying that it's not as important developing housing, but I definitely think that flood mitigation needs to be first and foremost. We have a lot of people who are currently displaced as it stands right now. They have not returned to their homes. And then I would say looking at possibly building outside.
Mary Fleury.
Hi, I have to agree with everybody else here as well. We do have to find homes for everybody who has lost their homes. It's very sad that there are so many homeless people everywhere, and the flood made them homeless. They didn't do it for themselves.
MJ Phillips.
We have to deal with the flooding first before anything else. Let's be honest. Nobody's going to invest their money here if we don't fix the flooding problem. I mean, who's going to drop $1.5 million or $4 million to build a multi-story building if it's at risk of being flooded in 5 to 10 years, if that? They're not going to. That's the priority. It has to be the only priority before we get anything else done.
One
thing my fellow colleagues here will learn is nothing is mutually exclusive on council. You've got to look at multiple things and you've got to juggle balls all the time, and that's what it is. We can't go after just flood mitigation. Does that mean we don't build any more homes in Merritt for the next 10 years? Is that 5 to 10 years? We're probably 5 years away before we finally get our flood mitigation completed. So if that doesn't make sense, I think we just continue doing business in the community, and the provincial government is providing the funding for the flood mitigation, about $165 million. Private sector looks after housing. There's property here that we can use to build housing. They're not mutually exclusive. We've got to work together.
I absolutely agree. We have to do both together. Diking is going to take a lot longer and a lot more money, $165 million. Housing, we have 32 mobile homes coming into the community by the end of October, November. We can't build homes unless we have housing for trades. So we have nobody to come in to work on the homes. We have to have, or to work on the dikes, we have to have homes along with the diking. We have 100 households that are still needing a home.
For myself, flooding is very important. I was involved in the flood. I was homeless for 4 weeks, and it was a hard thing to do. I agree that we have to approach both, but if we do not approach the flooding with more vigor, we're going to end up having more homeless people. It's a really tight line to cross, but we have to work on both the same. But for myself, flood mitigation, because I was flooded, is something that I'm very passionate about, and I would love to see the dikes fixed, and I would love to see homes start to be built. As others have said, no protection in the low-lying areas, people are simply not going to build there. It's not going to happen.
Thank you for the question. As mentioned earlier, many zoning changes have taken place encouraging the private sector to develop housing. Government should focus on flood mitigation. Thank you.
I don't believe it's a choice of either or. We need to focus on both. We also need to continue the pressure on the higher levels of government for the funding that we need to do both.
I agree with Susan and the majority of the other councillors here. I think it's a catch-22. If you don't do, it's a vicious circle. If you want more development, you have to have places for people to come in and stay in order to do that. Thank you.
I think that we should be working harder on helping existing property owners repair their properties that were damaged by the flood. I don't feel that that's being addressed enough in the community. And in order to move forward with other developments, we need to fix what we got first. Thank you.
I think both are very important, but my property was affected by the flooding, so I'm pretty passionate about flood mitigation. And I have been advocating for safe homes and safe community. I think it's very important that we raise that dike, widen that dike, before anything else. Thank you.
I think that they're both equally important, of course. But as Councillor Luck has mentioned, we've already got $160+ million into the mitigation of the flood. And as Councillor Brown had, or as Mayor Brown had mentioned, we also have the housing situation being dealt with as we're trying to attract people to get here. So we are doing both already simultaneously.
Last but not least, everything's been said, but I just feel that even to a draw in developers, there has to be some sort of guarantee that it's not going to do it again. But there's still a lot of people suffering, and I just would love to see even more effort made. I don't know all the effort, but just really high potential of trying to get them back in their homes or their whole area, their homes cleaned out and set up right. So, yeah, it's a tricky question.
Thank you so much.
Number 3,
start with Yvette. For phase 4 residents who still aren't home, will there be security during the colder months? And what about their concerns of squatters? This has a number of issues.
Right now, because I work in the high school right in the flood zone, a lot of residents are still scared. They're scared that they're going to wipe out every single thing they for rescue. They're worried that if flood happens again, squatters are just going to move in because they have no more money to fix any problems that happen in the next round. So most people down there are so scared right now that if atmospheric river happens again, that they may not ever recover from. So I think we all need, as a community, work together on both issues.
Thank you.
I think a lot of people are concerned about security of their properties, and from what we've learned in the first flood, a lot of people are definitely concerned, and I think that the next time we would definitely have more security in the future. We did have security for the zone 4 post floods, and then that has ended. However, I know that as a community we're coming together to watch out more for the citizens should that happen again.
Well, I think there is a good opportunity to learn from what we have already experienced. So there is need of security. People do not feel comfortable leaving their properties alone. I wouldn't be doing that. So we have to work as a team. That's the only way that we can provide that comfort to our residents. Thank you.
This one's a tough one for me because in asking about security in some of the 4 zone, once the homeowner was allowed to go back onto the property and take out their personal belongings, it was no longer up to the city to supply that security. So my understanding is that's where it stands right now. Thank you.
Claire Newman.
This is a tough one. I believe about the community together, working together on this. I know there's a complete community policing station that is in the downtown core that I think would be better utilized for the residents that are in that phase. Also, increased presence from our RCMP officers, I think, might also help out as additional security in the area for right now. But again, that's a really tough question. Thank you.
Mary Fleury.
She just told me she's going to pass.
Thank you.
This is a very hard question. I mean, property security is technically your own, but when you're dealing with being flooded out, you have nowhere to go, and you can't go and secure your home, who's responsible for it? So I think we need to come together with more either community policing, citizens on patrol, working together, watch your neighbor. If you see something skeezy going on, do something about it, call the cops. You know, we have to work together as a community to alleviate all these problems.
Boy, this is a real tough question, as most of us have indicated, because it's really tough. As MJ said, answered a couple of things that I was going to do. If we can get some citizen patrols going, maybe step a few more rounds with the RCMP. I know a great concern is the squatters in our community, but you know what? That is an issue that we've got to work with the provincial government on. That goes back to the housing issue. We've got to find housing for these people as it is, and that's the provincial government matter. So I would like to see that, something fixed about that in the next couple of years for sure. There's a lot of things I think we do have to neighbor watch and look after ourselves right now. Because, sorry, thank you.
Linda Brown.
Yes, all of the above, the neighbor watch, the police patrols, they do patrol now, by the way, but they probably could do a little bit more. On the other hand, these are private owner issues. It is not up to the city to determine whether or not we put security in for somebody's home. They have to be able to board it up, do something with it. They need to take some responsibility. The city is here to help, but they're not here to take over the entire home.
Zone 4 resident, security, when it first happened, was non-existent. We grouped together as a group, we secured everybody's neighborhoods, we patrolled it every night, we still look out for everyone. And I'll tell you one thing, if you want to come to Zone 4 and take something, you better come with a bunch of people because we're ready for you, and we've protected ourselves since the day of the flood and continue to protect ourselves afterwards. Thank you.
Mike Bangou.
I guess the answer is simple, yes, security is required. It was a failure, folks were wrong, it shouldn't have happened, and I 100% support security. Thank you.
Susan Rowley.
Yeah, serious issue there. I think education pieces through our community policing office to help these residents secure their properties, secure their valuables, block blocks kicking in, and neighbors looking after each other in the worst of times.
It's my understanding that some of the people, as you said, were banded together and protected. However, I do know people that they had house insurance. They were broken into not once, not twice, 3 times, and each time they were, first of all, they weren't allowed to go in and get their property. And so each of those break-ins were considered separate incidents by their insurance companies, and these people can't afford it. We've got to do something to try and help.
Jeremy Wooten.
Yeah, the squatter issue there. I've seen a lot of homes that were affected by the flood that are still now are sitting wide open with the back doors open, and no real attempt by the property owners to stop squatters from going in and staying. There's some properties there that are rental units across from the corner market that the power was still on for months after, and I noticed the lights were on and off at different times of the evening and stuff, so somebody was staying in there. I don't think it's the city's responsibility to go in for those properties.
Paul.
We're in phase 4, and we've got a great neighborhood watch. Brian and Pauline, Scott, and we're always watching out for each other's houses. I can ask my friends at RCP for stepping up patrols, which they will. And yeah, we're all more experienced to what to look for when we're looking at people's properties or neighbors' properties. So keep your eyes open and inform the police. Thank you.
Michael Barron.
Security is always very important. You can't feel safe at home if you don't feel like your possessions or you are going to be safe and sound. So, of course, it's important. I was left a camper during the flood downtown with the back door unlocked and a box full of Xbox games in there, and it was still intact. But we're more fortunate than other people, unfortunately. I think what the real issue here is treatment centers for the people who are squatting and don't have the places to live, because they need help more than anybody. Thanks.
Norma Jean Littleton.
Well, we experienced being robbed, and not during the flood, but it happens. But the more activity around, like patrols and about citizen patrols, discourages them. So when these type of situations happen, I'm all for even citizen patrols. When there's activity, it's a discouragement for squatters. Yeah.
Deanna Palmer.
Squatters were a concern in our community before the flood. It is a property owner's responsibility to make sure that their property is secure as possible by boarding it up and locking it up. And community policing and block watch, Claire was the first to bring it up and many others did. It's a very valuable tool in our community and any other community.
Security is an issue. I live in Zone 4 and was affected by the flood. My husband did his own neighborhood watch along with Derry. They were very vigilant to make sure our area was safe and secure. I think that we could set up neighborhood watch programs. Have your sticker and get together and do your neighborhood watch program. More RCMP drive-bys would be just perfect in the areas that are still having homes that are not occupied. Safety and a healthy community is one of the things I am running on. And so I really think it's important that our citizens feel that their house is safe.
Brian Peterson.
I think we've been working with Paul and have like the RCMP to make a checklist, like for example, for fires, that the fire department will lay out a checklist of things you can check for your house before fires to have some sort of thing like that for security reasons. But I think it is a lot of the property owners' responsibility to make sure that things are locked and put away, other than immediately after a disaster where the city needs to step up.
Our fourth question, I believe we've gone through them. Have we, everyone answered that? Our fourth question is for the final table over here, and this had received 6 submissions. The following question, 6 submissions of this question, and Wendy, we will, or rather, Claire, we will start with you. I apologize. Question number 4 are, what are your thoughts on a rainbow crosswalk project?
Thank you for that question. Well, actually, I have some experience with this. Logan Lake actually just recently went through this with one of their crosswalks, and it was a cost to the taxpayer. However, I think it does reach out to a certain audience in our community, and in conclusion, it should be something that's considered at the council table. I'm not saying every sidewalk, but I think there's a designated area. I'm sure we could find something that might work for the community.
Henry J. Phillips.
The thing is this, when it comes to the costs, I have no problem with private organizations coming forward and saying, hey, we want to do this. Absolutely. But the city doesn't have this kind of money to spare. Unfortunately, I understand people's beliefs and who they are, and I respect them. But this comes down to our tax dollars. And we don't have the kind of money to spare for everything that makes it feel good, unfortunately. We have to get back to brass tacks and solve the problems.
Tony Lott.
To Claire, I agree with her there. If we somebody in the community wants to step up and put a rainbow crosswalk in, you're good to go as far as I'm concerned. We'll just pass it to council, move forward with that. And it's even better if that organization wants to do it themselves, because then they feel like we're going to be tight in cash in the next couple of years. So it'd be great for an organization to step up to do that, and we're in our community here. So I'm in favor, and I'm fine with it, and that's good.
Linda Brown.
Well, I was on the council that voted this down. I actually voted for it based on the fact that if a simple sidewalk was going to be the healer for some child who needed that it was perfectly fine with me. It wasn't my way, but I was willing to do this for people who actually need it. It's not a big cost. It's paint on our road. And I felt it was worthwhile.
Mike Getz.
I supported the crosswalk the first time it came around, and the rainbow crosswalk is not just about LGBTQAI, it's about inclusion of a forgotten senior, a handicapped person, and that's why it's all the colors the same as the First Nations heated wheel. It's all about inclusion, and it's an opportunity not only for a rainbow crosswalk, but for every group in town to then take a crosswalk, such as the Centennials in their colors, the Lions in their colors. It's something that you can set you apart in your community, and people will come to say, hey, look at that, what's that? And they can see all of these crosswalks. Yes, there's a cost to it, but once you do it, people who want to do it maintain it after that. But I'm total supporter.
Yes, I support all groups and their desire to express themselves. The question remains, should the city be funding these sort of projects? And where do we begin? Where do we end? But again, I do support all groups who desire to express themselves. Thank you.
I think expression of different ideas is great in the community. It supports the types of people that are living in our communities. And I think if any group wants to do that, they just present it to the council, and the council makes the decision to have that ability to campaign whatever. It's much like our murals in our community. They draw visitors, and there's something different to see in the community.
Again, in the end, I tend to agree with much that has been said regarding crosswalks, but I do believe that if a community group wants to present it to council, it should be considered, and maybe if they don't, if that particular group doesn't have the money, like Susan said, or pardon me, Linda said, the money's there. Paint.
Yeah, I also agree with the rainbow crosswalks, but I think that city council should still have some control over it, that it's just not a free-for-all, that anybody can throw up the sidewalk wherever they feel like it, so that just that it's under council watch sort of thing. Thank you.
We have Paul.
Yeah, I'm in favor to the Rainbow Crosswalk project. I think it would beautify our city. It will attract people to our city and draw visitors. Thank you.
Michael Barrett.
I think that everybody should be inclusive, definitely, but if we do this, we're opening a can of worms where all of a sudden they're thinking with their own crosswalk, and, you know, Derek's going to want one for his business, and we might want one for ours, maybe all the dreadlock people are going to have one. You know, it's not about not being inclusive. We are already inclusive. By doing that, we segregate people and taking and saying this person's different, that person's different. We're all in this together. We're all citizens of America.
Well, I agree with Mike, and I agree with the others that certainly the public should be involved with that, because then you have so many groups wanting to do the sidewalk. And I mean, there's a lot of Christians. Would they be offended if a Christian symbol went on a sidewalk? It's just, it would be good to hear public opinion with this. Thank you.
I think inclusion is very important in our community, but I do feel right now that our tax burden is pretty heavy as it is. I would encourage that council approve these sidewalks in certain areas and have some place in saying where they should go, but I think that right now it should be appropriate for fundraising to be done for the costs. Thank you.
I believe in inclusion, but I feel that if you pick one group over any other group, you are setting that group apart. Is that group more important than my group? So if you open it up for one group, then you're going to have to open it up to other groups. Now, is the city going to pay that cost, or is the organization going to pay for that cost? I like the idea that the city starts it, and then the organization continues it. But I'm a little worried about all different sidewalks, all different things that might be a little confusing downtown.
I agree with people that want to have inclusion and all that, but I think it's an absolute no on crosswalks. Stop signs are red, not rainbows. Crosswalks are in the driving book as white and black lines. This is what it is. I think that there's plenty of spots around where we can have murals or art installations if they want to express themselves. But the rules of the road are the rules of the road, and that's that.
I believe that every single citizen of this town should be included. I work in a high school, and LGBTQ community is so overlooked that the students actually beg to leave town. We shouldn't have citizens begging to leave town because they're not included. If we're going to put a rainbow sidewalk, a community organization should pay for it so that it doesn't burden the taxpayers. But let's put it right near the high school and
they want to. That way we can show the future citizens of Merritt that they're included.
I'm in support of the rainbow sidewalk, crosswalk. This question originated from not the crosswalk or a sidewalk, confusing. We need inclusiveness in the community, and it's paint. It's something to make people feel safe in the community, and that's why I am in support of it. I know it doesn't agree with everyone, but it's just a sidewalk to make some people in the community feel safe and accepted, and that's all. Thank you.
So I am all for diversity and inclusion. If a crosswalk is not going to have a negative impact in the city budget, so and it's regulated by the city, I don't have any issues. Thank you.
And finally, Melvina.
I support the sidewalk as well, but I also agree with Gary that council needs to be able to oversee it, and I do think that the public should have a say as to where that sidewalk is going to be. Maybe the first one can start out at the school, like Yvette says, and move on from there somehow. Thanks.
All right, so we're going to be back to Mr. Getz with our next question. I believe everybody had an opportunity to answer that one. So our next question is for all of you who are running for council and mayor. What relationships have you built that you see helping you as a council member? 30 seconds on the clock.
Relationships that I've built, have been involved with ambassadors. I've been involved with Country Christmas. I've been involved with several different groups, flying clubs, the whole bit, and have been able to make some good contacts there. As a councillor, they have a lot of contacts with ministers, visitors with premiers, so have good contacts there as well. It's all about making the contacts and being part of the community and volunteering for the community and being there for people who need you, and that's where your contacts are made. That's something. Thank you.
Mike,
Yes, thank you for the question. In respect to the role of mayor, I have strong contacts within the provincial and federal government. I have many MLAs that are friends, some MPs that are associates, and I will utilize those connections. Thank you.
Susan Rowley.
All my life I've built relationships and connections, and I continue to maintain those on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis. You never know when you need to go to someone for their knowledge, for their connections, and their help with whatever the city needs. So I'll continue to keep those connections going.
I've made lots of connections through my business, through our family, through sports activities. I have a realm of friends, and I'm in touch with lots of people all the time. So I think I have a pretty vast expanse of friendships, and so I get a good cross-section of information from them. Thank you.
Gary Wood.
I think being there for your neighbors, whenever they need help, standing up and saying, yeah, I can help with that is something I'm good at. And also being very approachable in public. If any time somebody wants to talk to me about something, down on there to discuss whatever their concerns are. Thank you.
Paul Percy.
I've built a relationship with quite a few of the businesses in town for crime reduction, loss prevention. I continue my relationship with RCMP. I work as on-call guard at the detachment, so still working with RCMP, working with the fire department, and really important to keep those relationships going. Thank you.
I've developed some relationships through our outreach at our Seventh-day Adventist Church to help serve the community in a better way. help the people who are, as we call it in the last question, squatters, get some help with some food, clothing, things like that. We can't help them with shelter yet, but we're working on that. I've also developed relationships with the course with UBC on addictions and treatment right now to help further help the community, because we have a lot of issues in that regard, and that's about it. Time.
We've been in the community maybe a year and a half, but I love meeting people, and a big part is our church. But also, I like to visit businesses. That's been fun. I like to speak to people on the street. And I visited a seniors home near where we live and got to know all the people there, bring them homemade bread. And so I like that. So I'm looking for more opportunities to meet, especially by the council. Thank you.
Deanna Palmer.
For the past 3 years, I've sat on the board of the Nicola Valley Food Bank. The last 2 years, I've been chair of the board. I'm also a property manager in Merritt. I'm not sure it's good or bad to say that. But I work really hard with all the owners that I work with of investment properties to keep rent in a fair area of a market that can really get carried away. But I really work hard with the owners to keep the property rentals down where I can. Thank you.
Wendy Shire.
Well, since I've been retired, I don't have a relationship with actually any business or anything, but I am involved with different friends. I have a relationship with renters over many years. But again, I think it's individuals that are important, and I'm more than willing to go out and meet with people, talk with people, have people for me, and that's how I would do a relationship with the community.
Some of the contacts that I can bring to the table are in the industrial trades, being in them for 10 years now. That we need a lot of building to be done around here as far as fixing and repairing what we have and building new, so that we can help with that. I also have family that work for Samaritan's Purse, and they've been a large help in the community as well.
I was born and raised here, so I know many faces in the audience tonight, and I also work in the school system, so I meet lots and lots of parents. And I'm wanting to go into businesses and talk to business leaders and talk to anyone about this town, because I love this town. It's part of my DNA.
Adam, that's right. Being on council is a constant session of networking and talking with people. And that is one thing that you get to do, no matter what your mayor assigns you to. Because where we sleep on a Tuesday every couple of weeks, you have committees, you have meetings in the middle of the day, or you might get a call at 9:30 at night because of a river that's happening in your town. You have got to be prepared. Networking is important. If you love the community, you're going to work hard, and it will be fun. I love it, and I'm sure everybody else will too. Thank you.
Come back to follow my law. So through my previous job, I built many connections with the business community, non-for-profit organizations, and other stakeholders for over 10 years. In addition, I have built connections with the provincial and federal government. Thank you.
No, you know what?
I've got connections through the tourism industry, including the president of the Indigenous Tourism of Canada, provincial and federal government representatives, music industry across North America, hospitality industry all across Canada, councillors and mayors around the province. I'm a director on CFDC, a director on Local Stars, and the president of Tourism Nicola Valley.
Claire Newman.
Couldn't agree with Adam better on this. It was a constant handshake and a smile. I've been out door to door knocking for the past couple of weeks, and I have been trying to get in front of as many people as I can in this community. I personally know our MLAs, MPs, fellow mayors in neighboring communities, as well as councillors. I have connections in the forestry industry, forest service industry, the TNRD, developers locally and afar, business owners as well as industry owners in the tax base here in Merritt.
Representative Phillips.
Honestly, I haven't made many connections with a lot of people that maybe because I've been dealing with a lot of this in my personal life. As I've come out and started listening to people and listen to what their interests are and what their concerns are, I've learned that listening is even more important than talking. And a lot of people think that, well, I gotta tell you my ideas. But I like to listen, and I like to hear what people have to say. Because you'll find gold in 30 seconds to be able to go and get information that you actually need.
Tell me what.
Just quickly scrolling down the list here. I've built a lot of relations with people throughout this community and other communities around the province. When I first came to town, I became the director of the Community Futures, working with the Chamber of Commerce. I'm sitting on the Southern Interior Local Government Association, which is a great organization to advocate for our concerns. Reach out to businesses in this community. I'm doing that now. I've been doing that for a very long time. I'm already listening to some of the First Nation leaders, trying to get their input, understanding what I need to know better as I move on here. Many business leaders, array of city councils and mayors around the province. I've talked with the UBCM and knowing the Lower Mainland and the Interior and the TNRD.
Linda.
Thanks. There are a number of things, both professional and personal. I was raised here. My family was in business for over 60 years. I've volunteered in churches, in senior events. I've gone overseas as mission groups. I've done kids' sports events, everything the kids was involved in. If they needed volunteers, I was there. I'm a TNRD director. I'm a director of the Economic Trust of Southern Interior BC. I'm on the RCMP Local Government Contract Management Committee. Other UBCM. That's it.
And just a reminder to the audience out there, I hear a lot of oohs and ahs when we ask these questions. Trust me, I didn't come up with these questions. I'm not that smart. These were sent in by you, the residents of Merritt and community, as to what topics are important to you. So we're moving along to our next question, and then we'll start with the table occupied by Gary Woodden. And that question is, how will you communicate projects to your community and to allow them to have their say?
Well, I guess social media is probably the best platform to put it out there on. But the only thing with that is if you get off topic, if you get off topic really quick, it's on there and unregulated. So probably the newspaper is the most reliable source to get it out there to the public. That's it. Yeah. Next up we have Paul.
Well, communication, and I think we've got to keep it simple. A lot of the public doesn't understand some of the jargon that's used at City Hall. I think we just have to keep it simple. I'm going to say keep it simple, stupid, but I'm not saying you're stupid. But that's just a saying, right? Keep it simple, right? Thank you.
Michael Barron. I think it depends on the project, really. Everything is subjective to that. It depends on the project, the issues, what is best. Like Gary mentioned, maybe social media for one, maybe we have different ways, like newspaper and radio. Q101 is another way of letting people know if you tune into the radio. There are various methods. I've gotten courses in social media, and it's not that difficult to get your point across if you know your audience. If you don't know your audience, then we're doing it.
Norma Jean Littleton.
Well, I agree with Michael, and I think you can use the newspaper and radio. And again, depending on how serious or important the subject is, how many people will be interested in that, and social media. So you can get it out there, but yeah, use our newspapers and that, and see if you have a place to meet, if you're gonna go to a meeting or something. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Deanna Paulson.
I'm gonna go to Paul Petrosi here and say, keep it simple, stupid. I really think that we just need to talk to the people the way we all as people talk. Explain why we're doing things, how we're doing things, and the reasons behind why we're doing them. The social media can be negative, but it's really important in this day and age, and our newspaper and our radio are great resources. Thank you.
Wendy Turner.
I'm going to regurgitate a lot of what's already been said. I think your newspaper, your radio, your social media are really important. And I really think it's very important that City Council relate to the community exactly what they're doing. Have a weekly or a bi-weekly article in the newspaper. We're working on this. We're trying to do this. We're not doing that. So people don't have to go to the website to look up what is happening in our community. They'll see it every week or every second week. Clear words.
Ron Peterson.
I think she took a lot of the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, I think we need to go down every avenue to try and get word out to people on social media, the radio, and newspaper. But certain people only watch or listen to certain ones. And as far as community input toward those decisions, there are obviously the City Hall meetings, and if we could have more people attend those, I think that'd be good as well.
The next Baxter.
I think it's important to bring it on the newspapers, on the radio, and use certain social media platforms to get our messages out, and also the participation from all Merritt citizens to come down to meetings to make their input known.
Well, there's lots of ways to get a hold of people. Social media, radio, we know that as well. The town hall meetings that we have sometimes are really effective to reach out to the citizens who are lovely and wonderful, and I'm going to repeat what some of the others have said. We try to get the word of mouth out there, the social media page, community website, but I think that even having more town halls now that COVID's over, hopefully, we can meet up a little bit more. So hopefully that works in the future, and good luck.
So I feel communication is critical. I think it's a key component. We have to understand what is working, what is not working. I feel like there is something that is not working right now with how the city is informing the citizens about all these activities. So if elected, I will have to do some time, spend some time to see what is working and what are these areas that can be improved. Thank you.
Not everybody's a social media guru, but I do think the city website should have one page that's the news page. You go to the page, the website, you click on the page, you read what's happening on there. Then you've got a Facebook page that can be updated after every council meeting or anything that's coming in between. The mayor, after a council meeting, should be reporting on the radio for people that aren't social media, and the newspaper. Thank you.
Communication, one of my favorite things. So first off, I'd like to think that the new council would be reviewing, and if there is not one already, implementing a communication strategy and policy. With that, it would clearly outline the means of how to get the information out, covering all the spots from online newspaper, radio, and that all things that come from the council table would be implemented and sent out in that fashion. And also, you could always include a monthly newsletter or annual newsletter in things that come out from the municipality to all residents.
Thank you so much.
Communication is key, and that's part of being transparent. You know, so we need to have more communication, more public communication, questionnaires, surveys. I mean, people talk about social media being great. I mean, there was an event yesterday or the day before that was happening in the city. I just found out about it today on Facebook. The day after, it showed up a day later. So how can we rely on social media? We can also look at newsletters and other options to be able to get people out there besides radio, the newspaper, and everything else, besides social media.
Just throwing a couple ideas down. I think Adam mentioned one of them. We did start with town hall meetings, and I think they're a very effective way of getting the people together like this in a room. So I'd like to reinstitute those on a quarterly basis. I've already committed to Q101 to have a monthly mayor's update on the radio, so you'll be hearing from me on a monthly basis. I'm also going to be committed to working with staff to see if we can put together an email database. That database would have anybody that wanted to be in it, put your email in it, and we would blast out things. We could probably blast out things daily to you if you have your email. So I'm committed to looking at that as an important piece of opening the time and communication.
There's a lot of great ideas that have already been put out there. When you're in a moment and you're in the crisis that we were in, we tried our best. We didn't always put out everything, and we had to put it out with absolute meticulous accuracy. We could not provide anything that wasn't accurate. There was a lot of stuff on the social media websites that were misleading, false information. We couldn't keep up. We just couldn't keep up. We're trying. We know it's an area that we have to improve on. And we do so much work at City Hall that we can't possibly give you everything you need to know. We give you as much as we can.
Mike Jones.
Council process is simple. You have first reading, second reading, goes to public input, and you have third reading and adoption. In between that, if there's situations where people are not happy, then you have like mentioned, a hometown meeting where you get together and you talk about it. If I'm in the chair as mayor, the mayor's chair is open every single day, the office is open every single day. I can't get to you. If you can't get to me to ask something, I will come to you. It's that simple. I will keep everyone informed. So social media, you use every platform that you're able to get the message out. Some people, no matter how hard you try, are going to miss it. It's just that simple, but you do your best to get there. The whole idea is to be available at any time. Thank you.
Mike Van.
Yes, thank you for the question. I guess I'll drive around the streets of Merritt with a loudspeaker and just announce what's going on. You know, all jokes aside, I am a communications expert. It's one of my fortes. I will continue to use social media as I have. While the city council now is extremely engaged with the public. On another note, the city hall has been improving their communications, and I'm sure if we give them a little more time, it will continue in the direction that they've been traveling. Thank you.
Communications, one of the biggest challenges in today's world, is getting the message out to the people who need to know. I was focused on all the traditional media sources. If there's any contentious projects, hold a town hall. You can never go wrong with one of those. And having a combination of virtual and in person, so everyone can attend.
The question was, here. Okay. How will you communicate projects to the community and allow them to have their say?
I think what everybody else has been talking about is what the council would or should do. What I would do if I wanted the community's opinion is what exactly I did for the third question for the Mayor Herald on which option I would recommend the city take for flood mitigation. Well, I'm not an engineer, and I don't live in the floodplain, so I went and I talked to quite a few different people to get their opinions. And that's what I will take those resources and bring them back to council.
So we're moving on to question number 7, and we're getting close to, this will be the final question, then we're going to have closing statements from all of you. We thank you so much. There's no closing statements from them? So, I guess there's no closing statements from you. There is? 15-second closing? What was that about you want to do something? Alright, no worries. Anyway, we're moving on. I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm going to get the question, and we're going to start it with table number U. Yes, you. Deanna Palmer, are you ready? Alright. What is going to be done? What are you going to do to encourage big business to locate here in Merritt?
Well, I alone am going to do nothing. I'm going to work with the mayor and the council that is selected, and we're going to work with other local groups to encourage people to come to our beautiful Nicola Valley, and we're going to encourage industry, and we're going to promote our community with pride. Thank you.
What are you trying?
I think it is all about promoting merit. I think council has to go to job fairs and encourage businesses to come to Merritt. We have a beautiful area. We need light industry. Go to job fairs. Put out signs on the highway. Merritt is open for business. Yeah. Those are things that we can do as a council.
I agree, we should have more signage around so people driving through the community. We are close to Kelowna, Vancouver, and Kamloops. So many businesses pass through there, delivering goods and products back and forth. But advertise for available areas for them to open up shop here would be a good idea.
We should go back to the slogan, "A rainy day as long as you stay." Let's bring some back to our tourism, that our strong points are our nature. Let's show the communities around us to come back to us and come here for the lifestyle. We have a beautiful lifestyle. We have so much nature, so many lakes, so much that people can come to. That's what we need to promote, is our town is beautiful.
This question can have many answers. Some of them could be trying to expedite the building license processing time. Other ways could be maybe permissive tax exemptions for big locations, because you might do some at the start and gain it back at the end to make tax well balanced for all the residents. And other benefits could, be discussed through the council as well. Economic development manager would definitely be involved in that process. Thank you.
So I had the opportunity to meet and engage with small and large scale businesses throughout my previous employment, and I understood that if we are not able to improve our taxes, public safety, our hospital, our segregation, affordable housing, we won't be able to attract these businesses. It was all over and over discussions with them, and they wanted to see these improvements. Thank you.
Tourism Nickel Valley has been promoting the lake a day as long as you can stay, as hard as we can promote it. We've received a grant to help grow the mountain biking group. We've been working with all the groups in town. We brought a fishing show to town that's going to be aired on coming up in the new year. Wild West TV show, fishing show with 33 million viewers.
I believe the question had to do with industry and attracting the industry here. I think it is imperative that not only council and mayor get together with local realtors. They are the experts on the ground. I would suggest probably getting a package together of shelf-ready investment projects that can go out to the community to attract these developers.
Thank you.
It's a hard question. There's many issues that the city council can deal with, such as permits business, and all the rest of the stuff that goes through. But, you know, getting business here, we have to find out what they would bring, what they would need. And we have a lot of plastic that we're sending off to somewhere to be recycled. That's a business that people bring to this town. To recycle plastic either through paralysis or plastic to plastic business. These are things that we can do. And it's free, we're already picking it up, so let's do something with it besides sending it off to somewhere else.
Thank you, MJ. This is a very complex question because when you do, as I most of when you talk to businesses of all types, sizes, and shapes, is that there's some things that they must meet here. We have a great story here. The business companies come to town, Barkman over here, concrete manufacturer, great corporate citizen. They come to Manitoba. We can do more of that if we have it. We've got to be tax efficient. We've got to have housing. We have a housing plan. You can't bring 200 employees here. Where are you going to house them? So that's a big piece of this. So we've got to be more open to housing in this community. We've got to get taxes better. Our infrastructure too. We've got to upgrade our infrastructure. So our infrastructure is hobby size a lot of times. We need to fix that.
Got a lot of issues, but a lot of them have already been stated. One of the things is you as citizens can talk about Merritt. You can bring your family, your relatives, whatever, to Merritt in a business. You can also look at doing better things to retain our current businesses, having them expand, working with the businesses we have. I agree one of the issues is housing and hospitals. We don't have jurisdiction over hospitals to do anything about that. We can look at more housing. Taxation, we worked on a mill rate, we brought that down for light industrial. We're continuing to work on that.
Big business likes tax breaks, big business likes incentives, big business likes long-term leases. This is what you have to produce. You also have to, because I agree, housing is something that's important. You also have to sell yourself as a safe community. Up top on the bench, there is 100 acres up there that needs to be developed, and that's where you go after tech companies and try and sell yourself as a safe community and a community that is willing to work with the big business to get them here. If you don't work with them and dangle a carrot in front of them, there's something not going to come here.
Thank you for the question. What I'd like to do is identify businesses in the Lower Mainland that are no longer interested in operating in the Lower Mainland due to the cost, and attract them, bring them to Merritt. And I'd like to identify the businesses that we need here and reach out to them directly, build relationships, and then I get them here. Thank you.
I agree with Frank. We need to identify the types of businesses that we need here, what would be suited to our valley, what would be acceptable by our residents. Offer incentives, stand out, promote a lifestyle, and a simpler way of living that we have here.
I agree with a lot of the ideas that have been presented here as well. I think that Merritt is missing the boat in one area, and that is we're so centrally located that we need to focus on perhaps maybe being a distribution center. So that would create a lot of jobs. I wouldn't be able to put that much stress on our infrastructure. We would make sure that we find that within our community plan as well.
I think looking after the businesses that we do have here should be our first priority. We can't attract new business if we're not known as a town that doesn't look after what we have for big business. Telco's a prime example of that, and it's gone now. So there's another big mill going to come here after they left out. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Next we have Paul.
You know, I think it's a real fine balance. We want to stay small town, but we need business. So what do we want? We do need business. We are a main hub, we're 2 hours from anywhere. And I think that should attract some business. It's only 2 hours. I work in retail, I work in Canadian Tire, and right now we are having a hard time finding staff, hiring staff, retaining staff. And when you bring business, they're going to find the same thing. So why is this happening? So we're in big business, but they won't have any staff. That's what's happening. Thank you.
I think everyone's brought up some very good points. Taxation and housing are definitely the priorities here, though. And what Paul just said is, why should anybody bring their business here if you can't find employees? This is not just a local thing, though. This is going on all over British Columbia right now. So once we can address those issues and figure out how we can get it so that we can be more likable in the business community, that'd be great. Thanks.
Again, there's a lot of good ideas. One angle is that businesses come, depending on the business, that attract tourists. So one of my issues was looking at Merritt this summer, and it seemed really unkept. You know, the lawns, the parks, and downtown, and potholes. I think that we have to show our pride in the town and spur it up. And so, anyway, that's one angle that would attract more people to come and shop here. Right? Okay, thank you.
I believe that was all for that question, and unfortunately, it is almost 8 o'clock. Our evening is coming to an end. We will let you know that the auditorium is going to remain open. You do not have to run out immediately. The individuals who are up for election will remain, I'm assuming. If you have questions, if you want to come and chat with them, an opportunity to network and better get to know your individuals, then you can chat with them at that time. On behalf of the Merritt and District Chamber of Commerce, we thank each and every one of you for letting your name stand for public office for the City of Merritt. Of course, we do know the trials and tribulations that have gone on and what could possibly happen in the future. We thank you so much for letting your name stand. On behalf